Today I'm gonna make some healthy dumplings. So I'm starting off with a cup of oats. These are old-fashioned oats, so they're a little bit too big to for me to knead the flour with. I could, but it wouldn't be as attractive as I want because you'll see these peeking out. So what I'm gonna do is break them down in the blender a little bit. You can use a regular blender. I'm using a smoothie cup. You can also use regular oats, but I tend to use old-fashioned oats because I prefer the flavor. Okay, so here's my oat flour. I'm gonna use a cup of whole wheat flour. You could use the whole wheat flour by itself, but I tend to like the texture of of both of them together. 2 cups. I'm gonna use a little salt. A little less than a little less than a quarter teaspoon of salt. Okay, so I'm gonna mix this all up together thoroughly. So I'm gonna make some dumplings now. So when I'm starting off with the spoon because it's a little less messy. I have a cup of water in here, so I'm gonna start it a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna use my hands now. Sometimes when you add in the water, if you're just using the spoon alone, you will think that you need more water, but as you start to knead the flour, you'll realize that you didn't really need more water. So that's why it's best to start using your hands after you add a certain amount of water. A little bit of water on this. I mean, if you add too much water, you can always go back and add some more flour, so you don't have to worry about that. So even those 2 spoons of water I added a while ago seemed to be too much. I should have added maybe just 1 spoon because it's feeling a little too wet in my hands. So I'm gonna add just a little bit of flour. Okay, so I'm gonna add just another teaspoon, a little bit, maybe not See, so just a little water can make a big difference. I didn't use all the flour either. So in all, I've used almost a cup of water, but just a little, maybe 3/4 cups of water, because this was a cup. So overall, I've used 3/4 cups of water. So I'm gonna let this rest a little. Before you started kneading the flour, you could have put the water to hot that you're gonna boil it in. But I'm actually now gonna do that. Put the water to hot. Okay, so I'm gonna make the dumplings now. So it's good to let the flour rest a little. It's easier and smoother. It's easier to handle and it's much smoother. So the more that you need the flour, we say it's the tighter the dumplings are. So some people like their dumplings like that. Some people just want a very soft flour when it's boiled to bite through. I like mine somewhere in between, so I give it a little extra kneading. Okay, so I'm just gonna divide it up into some equal parts as much as possible. So once you start to make the dumplings, you know, you acquire that feel in your hand to know if one is bigger than the other, and you take a little or you add a little here and there. So okay, I'm gonna start. I don't like my dumplings too big, so this is how you're different ways to make your dumplings, right? Some people just if you're not accustomed to making dumplings, just roll it between your hands like that, like a ball, and go like that, and you have a nice dumpling. Okay. Some people do, like Jamaicans, we tend to start like that, and some people use both thumbs, or you could just put it in one palm and you take from the back and you put it in, take from the back, you put in the middle, take from the back, you put in the middle, and like that, and you go around and around until you get a nice dumpling. And when you're finishing up now, some people, you know, they go around with the hand like this and smooth it up, that sort of thing. Some people like them a little flatter, so you can flatten them out with your hand like that. Not everyone likes them as flat as that. Because I'm accustomed to making rotis, I sort of like my method because you don't use your fingers as much. So if you have long fingernails, it's easier. So you don't have your fingernails in the flour, so you just get the flour and you start fold from the back. You just take from the back and fold in, just as how I should with the thumbs, but I'm using the palm of my hands, and I use this finger to tuck in here, and then I go like this too. I'm not sure why I go like that, but that's how we do it. And you fold like you're taking from the back with here, and you carry it under, and then you use this finger to push it in. So it's the first time ever explaining this, so, and then I find that's very good, and then I take it up, take it around. We're gonna use this technique when we're ready to make rotis another day, and you just bring it up, everything up in the middle, and you put that back down, and you get a nice round dumpling. So I'm gonna do that for the rest, and we're gonna put them in the water. So I'm gonna show you how to get the dumplings nice and smooth and even around, all around. When you have the dumpling like this, right, after you finish making it, you sort of go around like this with both hands, with both fingers, and you just sort of feel the thickness of each dumpling. So just automatically, you just gently press, and after a while, you just feel that the thickness around is the same. Okay. Sometimes some people put it in the palm like this and use the back of the other palm to just smooth it around like this, like this. and to get it smooth. So you don't have any excuse now to not be able to make dumplings. So there we are. Okay, so here are my dumplings now. I finished making them. So I'm just waiting on the water to get hot. So I wait until the water is boiling hot before I put them in. So I actually did add another cup of water, because when I looked on the dumplings I realized I'm gonna need some more water. So I'm just gonna put them in the water now. So sometimes you're taking them up, if they go out of shape, you can always just fix them back. These are actually easier to handle. If the pure white flour dumpling, I usually just make them and put them in as I go along. I don't make them and put them down. So I need to straighten them up. So at this point they're very soft, so you don't want it gently, you just move them around. And also it's good to ease them up a little so they don't stick to the bottom of the pot at this point. So just gently shifting them around so I can let everything hold the cube. Okay, I have all the dumplings in the pot now, so I'm just gonna ease them up a little bit. You have to be gentle, you don't want to pierce them with the fork. Just ease them up a little so they don't stick to the bottom. And you don't want them to stick to each other. This one starts to stick a little. I'll have to put down the camera to get that done. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna cover it now. When I'm covering it, I'm gonna, because it will boil over, I'm gonna put a wooden spoon here. Or if you can just catch it on the pot cover, but don't seal it down properly. But I put the wooden spoon so that it won't boil over, like that. So it won't boil over. So as you notice now, the dumplings are floated to the top of the water. So people say generally when this happens they are ready, but I just let them boil for half an hour